you want to secure your assets.
We can crack the wallet.
Oh, we've done it before.
We've got rigs, character adversary, attribution mode.
With our private keys combined.
Building some kind of blockchain super weapon.
There's just a number of vulnerabilities that are in the smart contracts.
Math. It's probably secure.
They all secretly mine cryptocurrency.
What coin can I trust? Which one is cryptographically secure?
Don't roll your own crypto. CoinSec podcast.
All right, so here we are, CoinSec podcast 21. Do the introductions. We're missing our infamous Bo. Yeah, he's not with us, unfortunately. So I have no idea how we're gonna make it through this. So
we're gonna do our very best. I promise.
Yeah, we'll make him proud.
We're gonna make you proud. I swear. You're gonna tell me I'm so proud of you guys.
Yes, Grandpa Bo. So yeah, he's actually speaking at RVA Sec this week up in Virginia. So
yeah, I think we just found some photos of him online right now presenting.
Yeah,
really excited.
Yeah, we're stalking you, though.
Yeah, online. Yeah, I mean, what else would you expect we were doing?
Yeah, we were missing you. We didn't know what to do. We had to find your picture online. Obviously, you can hear that we have Steve and Ralph. What's up, guys? What's going on?
What's going on?
Enjoying the nice weather we've had lately. Finally, no rain. God, we've been flooded the last couple of weeks here in East Coast.
Yes.
So, we're spending some time outside when I can.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad here too. Like, I finally washed my car after 8 months, and it rained 3 times within the day.
It's been raining 8 months, or that's just been
No, I haven't washed my car in literally 8 months. And I finally did, and it just hasn't stopped raining since.
Yeah, it's been pretty miserable here. But we also live on like one state away from the sun, so it's pretty hot here when it's not raining. So
yeah, when it's not raining, you take showers and sweat because of the humidity.
Yeah, oh yeah, it just knocks you. You walk outside in the summer and just kicks you in the face like Van Damme, dude. You're just like, oh Jesus, not in the morning. But anyways.
All right, let's talk about the state of the market. Yeah. So we've got current values for June 7th. Overall market cap, $347 billion. So we're up a little bit from last week, thankfully. Things are going kind of trending upwards, but still pretty stagnant overall. So Bitcoin's at 7,714 USD. Last week that's up, so it's up like 200 from last week. So Ethereum's at 610 and Ripple's at 68 cents. So everything trending upward a little bit. So that's kind of positive. Yay for a positive week.
Yeah, for sure. I always feel like it goes up like 10 billion. I'm like, if I just had one of those billion, I mean, what would that hurt? It doesn't even seem like that big of a deal.
You need some kind of Bitcoin GoFundMe for yourself. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how you're gonna sell that. I just need $1 billion.
I just need $1 billion.
Yeah, I just want to see if I can get it, guys. Mm-hmm. That's all just part of my plan.
It's like those tweets you see, like people are like, "Hey, Heinz or ketchup or whatever. If I get 10,000 retweets, can we give me a free year's, ketchup or something?"
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that might be the new spam. Like, hey, if I get 1,400 retweets, will you send me 5 Bitcoin? It's like, no, I'm not sending you like 20 grand. It was like
that's the McAfee effect.
Yeah, but I don't know. People are silly like that. But yeah, no, if you guys just want to send me coin for no reason at all, I mean, sure, I'll start a GoFundMe for that.
So I think, was it last week we talked about the EOS exploit?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, it was last week, I think.
Yeah, so I just thought it was interesting to note that it's actually up quite a few percent from the last time we talked about that. So I always try to think like how negative articles and stuff like that affect. I know you've been doing some research on trends and stuff like that. So just how things affect the market overall. So it doesn't seem to me like, oh, vulnerability disclosure hurts these coins really that much at all.
So, but wasn't EOS? They're still on like the token like pre-launch, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
Yeah, it was like the week. I think it was the week before, right?
yeah. So I mean, everyone who was in it was like in it, like they believed in it. You know. After that, I don't really think they were like, well, now I better sell everything. I don't know. I just don't think that. I don't think.
I mean, it was going to tank out, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's just overall, it's positive. It's going up, so
Sure.
hasn't really affected people that much.
I think they postponed some things. I thought that's what I seen once the vulnerability was kind of reported or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Very cool. Cool, man. So, speaking of bugs, did you guys see anything about the EOS Bug Bounty? That dude that basically raked in some money.
He's cashing in one after another, isn't he?
Yeah, so it was like $90,000 of bug bounty money on the EOS Bug Bounty with HackerOne, was it EOS or EOS? EOS something.
EOS.
I think it's EOS. Yeah, I don't know what's EOS. So we haven't seen anything about what bugs were recorded, but I did look into the dude's like background a little bit, like just his technical background. And so if you go to the HackerOne profile of this guy, so he reported 9 vulnerabilities and received $10K for each one, and it happened in like a week.
Right. So people following along, if you're go to hackerone.com/EOSIO is what this program's under, and you can see what he's talking about.
Yeah. Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so I think he works at Burger King during the day and just does this at night. And no, I'm just kidding. I don't believe that one single bit.
Yeah, I don't know. The guy's super legit. So on his profile it says, "Invite me to your C source code vulnerability programs." So what that tells me is that he's probably like legit security researcher, grabbed some C code, probably found some really good stuff, and then disclosed it and banked. I mean, I just see another one just got reported 3 hours ago, another 10K, and then one 4 hours ago, $1,000. So evidently, this seems to be the way to attract some attention, some legit attention.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was looking at his Twitter, and he didn't look like he had too many posts, but he does have like a blog and a couple other things too. So, but I mean, that has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to, obviously discover these vulnerabilities.
So let's talk about the scope of this a little bit. So the scope of the bug bounty itself was the source code, the EOS.js library, and then the EOS.io blockchain software itself. So the core software is what was eligible for the bounty. Sometimes you'll see these places mixed in the websites and stuff like that, or their mobile wallets you'll see on here, but this is for the actual source code itself. So like I was saying, you said it was written in C.
Well, I don't know that for certain. I would suspect it was, but then also being that this guy has a C background, basically tells me that he's probably looking at the actual blockchain, not the JavaScript code. I'm not saying that's like exact. I'm being hypothetical here and putting a theory together. But the other cool thing is you can look at the commits on the library, and there's some interesting pull requests, and then also some other commits. There's some from 5 hours ago, 4 hours ago, which.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's some interesting commits into this. So I'm sure if you kind of started reverse engineering some of the commits, you'd probably be able to find where the vulnerabilities were, and that's actually a really good idea for trying to see if you can find some other vulnerabilities around the same bug classes.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
yeah, they're looks like they're actively merging in fixes now, but yeah, this guy scored quite a few, but unfortunately, yeah, they're all closed. So HackerOne doesn't disclose what was found.
From all the GitHub code, it does look like it's C.
Yeah.
Yeah, C++. But
so it'd be interesting to know. Like, I see some fixes for like memory, like something about the chain and memory. Let's see here. So if you search for security, there's some security delays. There's a security bug in the database. Update how deposits work, fix security issue with inline actions. That was a little bit older. So they seem to be actively developing on this, at least. That's pretty cool. Like, I don't know much about EOS.
yeah, I haven't used it either. They also have a JS library too, probably for like mobile and some other stuff like that. So
Hipsters. I mean, yeah. Interesting. Did you guys see, total side note, did you guys see that dude who, like, from the tech in the military that stole that tank? Total side note. Did you guys see that?
I did. Actually, I did see the video. Yeah.
M113 down the road. Yeah.
Somebody decked it out with
carrier.
Somebody decked it out with like Bitcoin logos and
Oh yeah, that's how you retreat it.
yeah, hilarious.
Turn that into a viral marketing campaign. Look at us barreling through the market. Nobody can stop us. Perfect.
Yeah, I saw it all with Bitcoin logos. And
oh yeah.
Crypto Twitter got a hold of it.
Mutilated it for their own purpose and will.
Yeah.
Well, it's good.
Cool. So moving on, let's talk a little bit about this whole West Virginia and being the first state to allow internet voting by blockchain in the primary elections. Yeah.
Well, my first question is, why couldn't they just make a database and you just vote on that?
Well, I guess you could create a unit database, right? But then it's centralized, and you're back to the same problem that you've always had, which is a single entity having control over some.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
well, not only that, but the whole fear of records being changed, manipulated.
This is devil's advocate here, but I mean, like, yeah, the state is already in control over that. And I mean, like, after I file my ballot, I guess.
No. The Russians are in control of that.
Well, let's just pretend like we're not in a Russian-controlled state.
Listen here for a second. We have to be really careful because this is like our only really solid argument on what blockchain is good for, is voting.
Okay.
I know, right?
So I'm in your court. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate.
Sure,
I want to
but
hear.
now does that blockchain contain who voted for who? Because that information should not be public, and that's kind of the point of a blockchain, is public and decentralized.
Well, but you could attach, like, the same thing with like a Bitcoin address, right? It's not necessarily public. I mean, like, you could, if you want to, correlate who it may be, but it doesn't necessarily like just have your name attached to it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, just because it's public, so you say you voted this way or another, doesn't necessarily mean that somebody could be like, oh, well, John voted for this person. I can tell by this random address that was there, right?
Okay, so maybe, but do you guys remember, like, I don't know, it was last year, that guy, Chris Vickery, I forget who he was with. I forget who he worked for, but he found that, like, all of the voting records by state and who voted for who, like, in an open
I don't know, it was like S3 share or
S3
something.
bucket or something.
Yeah.
Why is it always an S3 bucket? Jesus.
Well, I don't know if it was S3. Well, because you know how you used to spin that stuff up, and Amazon wasn't very helpful whenever it came to attaching a policy to it. But so like it had 198 million U.S. voter databases in plain text, just kind of sitting there, and it was like the GOP found it, but they had DNC like lists or something weird. So I think that the risk of having a blockchain on knowing who voted for who is at least a step above an open S3 plain text file bucket with all the voting records in there. And they're already floating around every year anyway. So
So you're saying it's the same, or do you think it's a little better?
I think it's a little better. I mean, at least you're not, I mean, at least you could tie it to like an ID and then have the ID versus who voted, you know what I mean? Like, or an address.
I guess because it's a blockchain doesn't mean it has to be public. You can have private blockchains. So maybe the voting system is quote unquote like an enclave, and it's just its own little verification system, not tied to anything else. You know what I mean? So it's closed source or sneakernet type deal.
So I seen this. So I was reading the article on the Wall Street Journal, and yeah, I don't know how I had access to it. I guess I went there one time in the last 4 years, so they let me view an article for free. Because I went back to reread the article, and it was like paywall, you have to pay to play, and I'm thinking no. But in that brief moment, I seen something from some company called Voatz, VOATZ. That I guess is the one that's going to be using or doing something for voting, and some platform with blockchain and something. I don't know if they're using the blockchain for it or if they were just talking about it or what. But I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, I think regardless of who implements some sort of blockchain voting that gets used, whoever the first person to bring that to fruition is going to be more than likely targeted by corrupt voting anyway, right? I'm not saying that they're going to be corrupt, but they're going to be targets of people that would like to manipulate votes anyway. So I guess my point is
supply chain attack theory.
Yeah, just because you have a blockchain for voting and it's cool, I guess, doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to be centralized still, I guess is my point. So,
You mean a blockchain is centralized?
well, I mean, I guess it depends on who's running the technology.
So, are you saying a blockchain is like a database that?
Yeah, I think we switch sides.
Yeah, I feel like everything that I was like, I'm playing devil's advocate. You're like, yeah, about that. No, I mean you make great points, right? I mean we're trying to solve this problem, but and we go about it and we keep continuing to think in a conventional ideology, right? Like, well, we got this blockchain, but we're going to make sure we just store it on one computer, because then if we stored it on all these computers, then you never know if somebody might change that data, So it's like we kind of get stuck in our own thing, but we're like, it's blockchain though, so it's like totally way better than that whole other thing we were doing before.
But think about it from this perspective though. So think about like all these integer underflows and overflows that we've been seeing in these smart contracts, right? So I think that'd be a really cool, oh crap, you know what? We just made Oprah Winfrey president because somebody underflowed and gave her all the votes.
Oh, yeah.
Then we have to recount, and then we're going to have to fork because now everybody else can't vote.
I could see like I've been sitting here thinking about like how could this be like private transactions, but I guess you could do like how Verge does their private addresses, and when you vote or whatever, when you submit your vote, basically you create a public and private key. So then your vote is out there as like your public key. And then only you can tell which vote is yours based on your private key.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, then again, I mean, we could take it one more level higher where they're just like, well, it's not really the popular vote that wins. It's kind of like the one that we feel like wins, So even though we definitely verified that you all voted, we're going to lean this direction, right? Okay, yeah. But I mean, no, I think to your point, the bigger argument is that you can kind of game any system, right? Even a blockchain. And to think that you can't is somewhat naive, right? If there's a will, there's a way. Even though I do agree or believe that a blockchain can be more fair than a current system, right? Less opportunity for corruption if implemented correctly, but still, I think any system can be gamed, including a blockchain. So,
yeah, especially knowing that the majority of these politicians and or government regulators have a really hard time grasping technology and just even how Facebook works, right? So imagine them trying to understand the technology behind the vote. I think we got a little bit of ways to go before they'll actually start trying to actually manipulate it. We got a little bit of a learning curve there, but it doesn't like they're doing a pilot test. It looks like for military voting of some sort. So for the primary election. So I don't know. I guess it's a limited scope, but it'll be cool for all of the military voters to vote.
So kind of on the same lines, I mean, have you guys seen all the big cloud providers now are offering blockchain solutions, like one-click deployments?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead.
Played with some of the ones on AWS a little bit, and then looked at the ones on Azure. They both offer different kind of packages. I think both offer Ethereum blockchains that you can build on your own little private networks and stuff like that. And so pretty cool to get in there and tinker around and kind of learn how everything works.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty interesting. They're just like, hey, you want to build your blockchain? Don't worry, it's at one press at insert company name here, right?
Yeah.
But it is interesting, right? I think that more people are trying to maybe turn it into something that could be their new, marketing or not marketing, but business model, right? So, I don't know. I think we'll see more of that.
I kind of like that. I mean, and I like how it's both offered from the Azure and the AWS side because, like, undercover, I'm a huge .NET fan. A lot of people don't know that I grew up on Linux, but I was an undercover .NET developer that I didn't really tell everybody. So the fact that I really like .NET and how they equip developers, and now having Azure there, and then blockchains, and then you see like people like Sneaker Hacks who work for Microsoft that has a passion for blockchains and hacking now. I don't know. Like I just think that they're going in the right direction. And I'm kind of looking forward to see what comes from that.
Yeah, I think to follow up your point about .NET, I think it's pretty cool too. Even though I'm not really a Microsoft person, but
yeah,
it's important.
It's cool. All right, sweet. So let's move on. I mean, we don't really have a lot of new stuff this week anyway. But one thing that I kind of saw out there floating around was this idea about North Korea targeting some exchange users, like cryptocurrency exchange users, not like Microsoft Exchange. So crypto exchange users with some spear phishing attacks. Did you guys see anything about that? Like, I guess they've been at it for a little while now, but some of the ones that they were using were some pretty sophisticated stuff from what I've seen.
I haven't seen too much about that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I guess it was like a really big campaign, and they posted some of the artifacts that were behind there.
I'm looking at the artifacts, so most of them are in Korean.
Well, isn't North Korea under still like a lot of capital control still?
I would think so. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's like one of their APT teams of some sort, because I know that they were historically going after point of sale. So it seems like a lot of their attacks are financial related. So I guess it's not surprising that they're going after the cryptocurrency exchanges. But, I mean...
I think I heard before, too, that North Korea had invested heavily into like Bitcoin mining.
That's weird, though, because that's super
one of our earlier episodes.
Well, think about it from this perspective. Every picture I ever see of North Korea with any sort of technology is like
out
2004 Dells.
Yeah. Oh, that too, yeah.
Like they're still
That's only in propaganda videos, man. That's why.
No, they're pictures though. Like they're new pictures of like Kim Jong Un like smiling with his team, and then in front of like a 2004 Dell with a CRT monitor and those clicky keyboards.
You know what? If they can do what they do with that computer, imagine what they could do with Realtek. You know?
Maybe it's like a psyops. Maybe it's just like we're gonna put these old Dells so they think that we're super old, but we have all of these ASIC mining rigs over here.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're like pretty close with China. And where do you think all of our computers are made? Like pretty much everything.
Yeah.
They can't get like a couple good ones, right? Like like a little shipment across the line there.
That's true.
I mean,
maybe they're using all that nuke power to power their cryptocurrency miners.
They want to get rid of our nukes, okay.
All right, we're just going to mine a lot of crypto.
No, I mean, I guess they have a history of hitting banks with some C2 stuff for point of sale systems, which is interesting. I mean, so you get a bunch of credit cards or you grab a bunch of exchange users, and then what, you mine or you jack their money. I mean, they're dropping like massive vulnerabilities from what I've seen. Some pretty sophisticated stuff I've heard, and then I've also heard that I've seen somewhere that some of these teams that they've been putting together, they've been training up, and they're not like the little kid on the block anymore when it comes to information security. So I don't know. I guess this campaign was called Blue North, BLUENOROFF.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it looks like they have some historical APT stuff out there. So I guess Proofpoint did some research too on it, and I think so. I haven't seen that, but I did see that they had some research out there. So cool.
Yeah, definitely pretty interesting.
Everybody be hacking.
Everyone's be hacking. Yeah, if you don't have an APT team in your country, you're not like a country. You're kind of like just like a place people live, but you're not like a place people respect.
Yeah. So, and if you're trying to put together that team, Ralph, why don't you give me your information? Let them.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And that
you looking for work, Ralph?
Yeah, I'm just dying for work, man. Jesus, I just don't have enough. All right, and next article.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. We're off that one. Ralph is not really hiring. So I got this message from a friend of mine who mentioned something that because he's like an altcoin miner. His name's Brian, super awesome dude. And so he sent me this message about Raven coins last week, and it didn't hit our radar in time for last week's. But I started looking into it a little bit this week, and it looks like I don't really have a lot of information about it because it seems like it's a little low, but something to do with these YiiMP pools being jacked of their Raven coins. Has anybody seen anything about that with Raven coins being stolen? I think it's only with these YiiMP pools, though. That's what it looks like, at least.
Which I run, and now I'm checking for an update.
I know. It's like one of the few coins. Like we talk about a lot of different stuff, but I actually have Raven coin, so I'm like, oh shoot, man, better not use a. But there's only like a couple exchanges, or well, couple places. There's only one place you can really buy them, but anyways, you can exchange them a lot of places. But.
So since then, there's been some updates to the software, the YiiMP. There's an update 17 hours ago for changing the valid end time range, I guess. There was a return in here. I think it looks like where the time on which, if I could read C++ better. So it's funny, like he deleted the part of the code that just says, it was a comment that says just in case, and then he switched that to a return false. So yeah, it looks like they've probably fixed it since then. And your article doesn't really say much about how it was being stolen.
That's the thing. Like, so everything that I was reading was saying that, well, the YiiMP pools are back up, but nobody really knows if they're safe because they don't know how the hack was done. And then all the other stuff that I see is just a lot of people complaining about missing coin. But like 50 transactions have disappeared, and then it looked like everybody was abandoning ship on some of those YiiMP pools, and they were switching over to Supernova. So I totally don't really understand what's going on. It just seems like it's a big mess. I mean, unless I'm completely missing something.
Somebody cried wolf and everybody ran. Yeah, I don't know, because I don't see anything. Like, I don't see any anomalies in our pool.
Cryptocurrency miners are very skittish, you know.
They are, man. Yeah.
They scare easy.
Yeah, they're like, turn on the lights and they scatter like cockroaches. Where do we go next?
What's the new coin?
Well, there was some announcement on one of the Discord servers that said it's been brought to our attention that around 9 a.m. several pools were hit with some sort of theft. We have no more concrete evidence at this time about the attack vectors, but we'll continue to provide updates as the situation progresses. Note, your core wallets are not affected. This is strictly an issue with pools. So far, only YiiMP pools have been reporting issues. So clearly, there's probably people looking at some of the YiiMP pool or looking at pool code, right? Or just some of the miners. It seems like that's a big focus lately. So
interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like
if you can kind of steal from the source, I guess it's kind of a hot target.
I mean, I definitely feel like those are the two big things, right? Go after the pool or go after the exchange, right? The individual guy, though not off the radar, just not maybe as not the first target.
Yeah, sure.
yeah, looks like people are switching to non-YiiMP pools.
Boo.
Bad idea.
I said, nah, just boo because I run a YiiMP pool. Hey, if it's updated. I guess the problem with the YiiMP pools is you can't really tell, I don't think, which version it's running on.
So,
no, you can't.
So what is Pickaxe? Are you familiar with that?
Nope.
Something that people keep talking about is Pickaxe Pro. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is either. But I was looking at some of the Reddit comments on this thread about the pool. So
was that one of the pools that actually was hacked?
I don't know. It could be. Is it a pool or is it a technology?
Yeah. Pickaxe Pro is a mining pool.
Okay. Yeah. So there was some question on whether or not that was involved.
They have a lot of different coins though on there. Like they got Bitcore.
Yeah, that's the good thing about YiiMP is you can just kind of like, it's modular. You can just plug in a coin and go mine it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then actually they have like a metric ton of coins here. Like, but weirdly enough, I don't see Ravencoin on here, so I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Cool. So, and the only other thing that I think we were going to talk about, or at least bring up, was this project that I kind of put together a couple nights this week, and then I kind of played with it and got it going today. But it was just this interesting thing that I was trying to do with live tweets. So what I did was I created this project that basically monitors the Twitter streaming API for certain keywords like blockchain and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, all of your traditional keywords that you would search for kind of on Twitter, right? So I added those as filters. So I got this fire hose of tweets coming in, added some filters to it. And then what I did was I took the tweets and I sent them to the Google natural language processor, so like using NLP. And what it did was it extracted a bunch of information, specifically like nouns, verbs, and adjectives, and then it sent them through its sentiment analysis to determine whether they were positive or negative. And so you can imagine, like, I give the example of if there was a tweet, this is what it would be doing. It would say like, I hate going to the store, but I love food, right? You can see how I'm talking about two different entities within that subject or within that tweet, and then so Google's engine will actually extract going to the store and attribute it as a negative sentiment, and then saying I love food being a positive one, and it would categorize it, and then it weighted it based on the frequency, basically, of the sentiment for each of these types of searches, right? So it's extracting all of the information. And then it basically just monitors the sentiment for the different hashtags. So it'll also go through and say, oh, well, you know what? I see ETH as a hashtag. I see ICO as a hashtag. And so it's basically categorizing what people are saying about blockchain and making it either positive or negative. And then it constantly, real time, kind of fluctuates. And so it was really because I wanted to get the technology working. And so that's why I just decided to kind of play with it on using blockchain technologies. But I was thinking, what are your guys' thoughts on and it's not more security related, but definitely looking at maybe ICOs and saying, well, the popularity coming from like social media on specific ICOs, and then are people talking positive about the ICOs or negative about the ICOs? And then if we took that and correlated it to kind of valuations at that same time, could we see a trend on more people are talking about it in a positive light versus a negative light, and to see, or even maybe follow the same train of thought with blockchain keywords, and then monitoring valuations on whether they go up or down based on the news and what people are saying on the social media. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like kind of from that movie, what was where the guy took the pill every day and it made him like super hyper awesome at everything, and he turned out to be really good at stock trading, and that's what he was looking for, was like people's reactions to things in the news and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's totally a viable kind of quote unquote science that, you know, people kind of follow each other. So if the sentiment of something is positive towards one way, it's going to ride that way for an X amount of time before it starts swinging back the other way.
The movie you're talking about is Limitless.
Limitless, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you, because that would have drove me nuts.
What is it? Yeah, no, I think that's kind of interesting too, to kind of take in the analysis of what people are talking about to like correlate whether it's a trending topic, or more importantly, like whether it's going to actually make more money. But even past the money side would be, you know, if you start applying that to like security incidents, right? Like how does that affect or not? And, you know, kind of the piece there. It's kind of interesting too, because Twitter is like this feed where people volunteer the info, and there's probably glimmers or golden nuggets kind of hidden in all of it that you might not see because it just doesn't make your feed, right?
Right.
So
right.
Drawing that correlation sometimes, you know, takes more than just, you know, you sitting and looking through it. It really takes kind of machine learning
Yeah.
to do this kind of stuff, but or just being able to kind of correlate that information, right? With larger data sets than you're going to look at.
Yeah, and the faster you can do it in real time, the more I guess successful you'll be at trying to look at the market and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't trade, so it really wasn't. Ultimately, how I started this was because I was wondering, I wonder if we can monitor all of InfoSec profiles for blockchain-related tweets globally from outside blockchain discussions and narrow it down to specifically InfoSec. What's the sentiment? I mean, obviously we talk about it being negative a lot, just kind of from the InfoSec practitioner perspective. But is that accurate, or is that just because our echo chambers are the same? You know what I mean? So that's where I was going. But I didn't see enough activity on blockchain-related tweets to actually filter into that demographic. So I just made it globally. But then I was like, man, this is a pretty cool thing, and I got it working. And actually, I found the technology. I mean, it's super cool. It's using Firebase and BigQuery and Twitter's streaming API, sends it to Google's natural language, and then it sends it into BigQuery. But a lady named Sarah Robinson from Google is the person that really put it together. She didn't do it for blockchain. She did it for the Google I/O conference. And but she posted her code a year ago. And I was trying to do some Twitter sentiment stuff because I'm working on just some other weird research for work. And I stumbled across it and got it working, and I just changed it so that it would work with blockchain. And I kind of got here. But I was thinking this might be good for coins too. I don't know. Because I'm taking into consideration the number of followers that the account has that's making that tweet. Sure. So, yeah, I don't know.
So I looked at it a little, but can you search all of Twitter? Or are you just limited to your followers, or
No, it's all of Twitter. It's all of public Twitter. So
got it.
Twitter gives you a fire hose or a streaming API, and basically it's all of the tweets coming in real time.
Okay.
So you can imagine this big, massive stream of tweets, kind of globally across Twitter, and then so what you do is you apply filters to those, and then they filter them at the streaming level, so you only get
just pass you the good stuff that you want, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't end up with the whole fire hose; you just end up with the sprinkle.
Yes.
Because you don't want to have the fire hose filter.
Right.
Got you. Well, that's pretty cool then. Yeah. You get just the one piece you want and roll from there. And then you can start drawing graphs, which are super cool, and other stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's what I have actually. I was thinking, what would be really cool just to see the top, 50 or 100 altcoins and the social impact that they're making, and then whether they're positive or negative, and then maybe the valuation from the day before or something, some sort of graphs that are there. I think that'd be a really cool dashboard. It might also be cool for mining, if you can incorporate some of the mining data on there to see whether coins are worth mining.
Yeah, so you're talking about making predictions about the price and then moving your mind before it's actually the price.
Yeah. Based on
speculative moving, yeah.
Speculative mining. There you go.
Speculative mining.
Coined it here first.
Coined it here.
Isn't that pretty much what I do right now? Just speculatively mining?
Yeah,
just hoping it goes up.
Yeah, but I heard you. Okay, so I was following one of the chats a while back, and you guys were all moving your miners to this other coin. And when I was looking at the coin, I was finding on Reddit that people were complaining that the developers had abandoned that coin. But I didn't want to say anything to you guys because I don't know it as in depth as you when you're picking these altcoins to mine.
People speculate that all the time. If you go on just about any coins, Reddit, this project's abandoned. All these a lot of them are altcoins, and a lot of them are do get abandoned, and that's kind of where I came up with the name for our pool, which is Deadpool, because they do get abandoned, and you never know which one's going to be going to be right. But it's a shot you take. But the thing is, a new coin comes on and has a lot of hype behind it, you could potentially get in and mine a lot of coin before a lot of other miners get onto it. You know what I mean? So having that intelligence that you gather like that would be, could be good for both trading and miners, or just people interested in data, I guess, like you.
Yeah. Data junkie.
I like
Data junkie.
No, but especially we need to take our mining rigs and then turn them into AI rigs so we can really process that data.
That's where I'm going with this. I'm just going to make this super AI blockchain threat intelligence.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! You're turning me on, man. You're turning me on.
Machine learning, AI, neural network.
Take my money. Just take my money, all of it.
And then I'm going to put it behind a paywall.
Son of a.
Like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make predictions, and I'm going to show you old predictions to show you how accurate I am, so that you'll send me all your ether.
Oh, and then are you also going to put up some like cool graph of like the world with like attacks going on that's not real?
No, I'm not going to do that. Like, not a pew pew chart. Like pew pew. Like we should totally do a pew pew chart for like transactions. Like,
oh yes, this, and then it'll just be like Russia just like sending all this money.
They just send all the money that North Korea's exchange.
Yeah,
which they don't have. But
no, I mean obviously they don't have. I mean
South Korea's exchange.
That's could be how they get their money. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah.
What do I know?
No, I'll do that. I'll get a bunch of hype. I'll get a bunch of followers, and then I'll just start charging, $10,000 a tweet for new ICOs that are going live and talk about how good they are.
Yeah, no, your artificial threat intelligence platform.
Yes.
Right. ICO that's going to predict. Actually, the best thing about artificial intelligence is it can predict when before the attack happens. So it's like it knows that it's going to happen. And then it gives indicators of predicting the attack.
Yes.
Not just actual packets.
Yes. And I won't be the one actually attacking.
Yeah.
It's going to be attacked tomorrow, but it's not me.
We joke, but I do feel like some people have made a lot of money off of some of the things that we've maybe have dodged around here.
So this is really like some of this stuff though, when I was talking with my friend today, we work at the coffee shop every once in a while, like just to kind of hang out. We don't work at the coffee shop, we work from the coffee shop. And so he's
you're a barista.
Yeah, so he's been trading, and it's like everybody that I run into trades by looking at financial numbers. I'm thinking like all of these other indicators are out there. Yeah, I know I'm a data guy, but when you start looking at all these other, if you could centralize all of this stuff into like one dashboard, I feel like that would be a pretty good set of data to have. I mean, I would use that if I was going to do it.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Another buzzword: single pane of glass.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a single pane of glass. That's right.
Yeah. Oh well. Actually, I kind of. We joke about this, but if you think about all these like major apps, okay, not just applications, but just kind of programs in general, that all they do is they take tech that's already there and then they just make a pretty interface for it, and people are like, that's the one I want, Yes. I mean, like Splunk, the whole thing is just Python with a web interface, right? I mean, I get it. There's some other stuff, but that's pretty much it. Okay. It's like,
it's true.
And like it's really expensive. Like you can go online and you actually don't have to call a sales guy to figure out how much it costs, and it's pretty expensive. And that's just one example, but there's a lot of other tech that's just like that, right? They take some very simple tech and then they're like, well, I'm going to make it really easy to use, and then I'm going to charge you up the butt to get that ease of use. So yeah, kind of digress there, but I think that that's what blockchain needs. Okay, it just needs the really easy to use app, right?
I agree. So
and
when Lambo.
What's up?
When Lambo.
Yeah. No. But.
Well, I can tell you that if I disappear it's because my analysis was actually predictive.
Well, that's one way to look at it, right?
Yes. Cool. Well, I don't think we have anything else. I think we're coming up on the hour. And do you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about, to discuss?
No, I think I'm good. I think we've talked all the news for this week at least.
Yeah, I think Bo will be proud of us.
He is. He's going to be listening. He's going to be like, you know what? You guys did a good job. At least that's what I'm hoping.
I'm gonna tweet. I'm gonna send him a message after this and say that I forgot to hit the record button. Actually, I'm gonna do it right now.
All right, awesome.
Yeah, let me see what he says. Finished recording. ... But I forgot. Come on, stupid phone. To hit record. See what he says. He's probably like super happy. He's hanging out with friends at a conference.
He's like, oh, these guys got it.
Yeah, I'm happy. Like, the CoinSec podcast will continue even in my absence.
Even though it's like Hindenburg.
Oh, man. Let's see what he says.
Oh, jeez.
He's probably throwing his phone. I'm done. I'm triggered.
Anyways.
All right. Well, we'll see what he does. We'll stop. I don't know. I'll probably send him a message beforehand because he's not going to respond. He's probably going to be mad.
Next episode, he can talk about his emotional feelings when we receive that message. You know.
Yes.
I think it's a teaser. It's a teaser for our listeners to wait till next episode.
Yes. Good teaser. And so episode 22 will be a therapy session.
Yes. It'll be a heart-to-heart, as we like to call it. But.
All right, guys. Well, it's been good. So,
all right.
It has. All right. Thanks.
All right.
All right.
Check that later.
See ya.